When we think about the family, we often think of it as an island, a small separate world where people grow up and live linked by bonds of affection. But in reality, the family is not an island. It is a living, breathing entity, constantly influenced by the environment that surrounds it. Society, with its norms, values, and expectations, plays a fundamental role in the dynamics that develop within the family. The question we ask ourselves today is, how deeply does society influence the way we experience our family relationships? Every culture, every historical era, has its own family models, ideals, and structures. If we look back in history, we see that the family has always reflected the values of the society in which it was located. For example, in the patriarchal societies of the past, the role of the father was that of the authoritarian head of the family, while women and children had subordinate roles. This reflected a hierarchical social system where power was distributed rigidly and individual freedoms were limited. Today, in modern societies, there is a growing movement towards equality and gender parity, and this is reflected in family dynamics, with parents trying to share responsibilities and power more equally. But society doesn't just influence roles within the family. It also influences our expectations, our fears, our dreams. It tells us what it means to be a good parent, a good partner, a good child. And sometimes these expectations can become overwhelming. We find ourselves chasing ideals that aren't really ours, but that have been imposed on us from outside. Think, for example, of the pressure that many families feel regarding academic or professional success. Society tells us that success is measured by academic qualifications or income, and this creates enormous pressure on families who feel obliged to meet these expectations, sometimes sacrificing their own happiness or serenity. Family dynamics, then, do not develop in a vacuum. We are constantly influenced by cultural models, the media, laws, and social policies. Advertising, for example, offers us idealized images of the perfect family, everyone smiling, happy, in a tidy and clean house. But these images often do not reflect reality and can make us feel inadequate, as if we are not doing enough to reach that ideal. Another important aspect to consider is the influence of social norms on gender roles. Even today, many families feel trapped in traditional roles where the woman is expected to take care of the home and children, while the man is the primary breadwinner. Although we have made great strides towards gender equality, these social expectations are still present and can create tension within the family. Women, in particular, often find themselves having to balance their careers and family life, while men may feel pressured to be the protector and provider of the family. And what about economic pressures? Modern society is heavily based on consumption and productivity. We are told that to be happy we must have a nice house, a new car, fashionable clothes, exotic trips. This creates financial pressure on many families who find themselves working more and more to try to maintain a lifestyle that in reality does not correspond to their true desires. As a result, the time spent together, the quality of relationships, is sacrificed in the name of material success, which ultimately does not bring true happiness. However, society is not only a force that negatively influences family dynamics. It can also be a source of support and growth. In more open and progressive societies, we see greater acceptance of non-traditional families. Single-parent families, homo-parent families, multicultural families. These social changes have allowed many people to feel freer to express their identity and create family relationships that truly reflect who they are, without having to conform to predefined models. Another positive example of society's influence is the growing recognition of the importance of mental health. Mental health issues were once a taboo, something that was not talked about. Today, more and more families are learning to talk openly about stress, anxiety, depression, and to seek support when needed. This is a social change that is positively transforming family dynamics, making them more open and inclusive, But how can we, as individuals, manage the influence of society on our family dynamics? One of the keys is awareness. We must be aware of the social pressures that surround us and make a conscious choice about how we want to respond. We cannot completely eliminate the influence of society, but we can choose not to be overwhelmed by it. We can choose to build a family that reflects our deepest values rather than conforming to those imposed from outside. Love is the force that guides us in this process. When love is at the center of our family relationships, we are able to overcome external pressures and build authentic bonds based on mutual understanding and respect. Love allows us to see beyond social expectations, to truly listen to the other, to create a safe space where everyone can express their truth. In conclusion, family dynamics are influenced by society in many ways, but in the end, it is us to choose how we want to live these dynamics. We can decide to let ourselves be guided by love, understanding, and respect, creating a family that is not a passive reflection of society, but a living and autonomous entity, capable of responding to external challenges without losing its essence. Every family is unique, as is every person. And in this uniqueness, we can find our strength, our refuge, and our unconditional love.